The Detroit Lions, this was a devastating loss for them, and this is probably the most devastating loss we've seen from a team in the playoffs so far this season, because you factor in Ben Johnson going to the Chicago Bears. Aaron Glenn, it looks like he's going to leave too for sure. It's just a matter of time, whether it's the Saints or the Jets. He'll be out of there. And I saw some rumors that, the defensive line coach for the Detroit Lions is also going to go leave and head with, Mike Vrabel and be his defensive coordinator in New England. So they're losing a lot of quality coaches. I don't know, can Dan Campbell replace these high-quality coordinators? I mean, we saw Nick Sirianni struggle to replace high-quality coordinators. Jonathan Gannon went on to be the head coach for the Cardinals, defense coordinator. The defense regressed last year. Offensive coordinator Shane Steichen went to the Colts. Offense regressed as well. Brian Johnson became the offensive coordinator, and they struggled mightily that year offensively. They still won games, but they went on a skid toward the end of the season, a big losing streak, and then they got embarrassed by the Tampa Bay Bucks. So having high-quality coordinators is critical for a coach like Dan Campbell, who's not calling plays, who's not controlling the defense. So we'll see what a Detroit Lions team looks like next year without those coordinators and without Ben Johnson calling plays. He'll probably replace these guys with, guys in-house. Jared Goff, I mean, he showed you. He showed you exactly who he is. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback in the league no more. I mean, you look at some of the great quarterbacks in the NFC. Jaden Daniels, I think, has passed him. Matthew Stafford's passed him. Baker Mayfield maybe has passed him. And you got to look at, the play in the playoffs. 3 interceptions, 4 turnovers total because he had a fumble too. So, Sean McVay, the Rams, they moved on from Jared Goff to get Matthew Stafford. They won a Super Bowl. They're still in contention, still competing because of how good Matthew Stafford is with one of the youngest rosters in the NFL. A lot of young players on that team. Doesn't matter. Matthew Stafford's that good. People have said, the Detroit Lions are a Matthew Stafford away from winning a championship. And that was very true and very evident against a young Commanders team, a team that it was a track meet. This offense, you would think, all right, we can win track meets. We are one of the best offenses in the NFL. But no, Jared Goff, 3 costly interceptions, a fumble, just really costed them this victory. Anytime Jaden Daniels and the Commanders had the ball, every time they scored. And a couple pick sixes. And these turnovers that Jared Goff had turned directly into points. So you're not going to win football games with your quarterback playing like that. And I mean, he's had some performances where it's like, all right, this is concerning. Like the Texans game where he threw 5 interceptions. They still won that football game, but I don't know how you look at, performances like this and you're like, he's the guy to get us to a Super Bowl. He's the guy that will win us a Super Bowl as our leading quarterback. I don't see that from them. I don't see that from him. And like I said, the Rams situation, them moving on from him to get a different quarterback shows you. And they were in the Super Bowl. They went to the Super Bowl, had one of the best offenses in the NFL. Same thing with, how Detroit looked. Jared Goff was doing that with the Rams, but they moved on from him still. I mean, it just shows you. Jared Goff is not that guy to help you win a Super Bowl. And it's in the NFC. It's not like he's in the AFC. Jared Goff would not be that guy in the AFC to help you win the Super Bowl and get to the championship game. He would not be able to beat Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, any of those guys in the AFC. Probably the Lions would have lost to the Texans in the playoffs. Hot take. Call it what you want, but he would have had another stinker against the Texans. So being in the NFC, going 15-2, historic season for the Detroit Lions. I still think all that being considered, the year he had Jared Goff, talented quarterback in the regular season, a good game manager, but come playoff time, that's when stars, the difference makers, the best quarterbacks come out, and the winning quarterbacks usually come out on top. And yeah, Jared Goff, Jaden Daniels showed you he's more of that than Jared Goff, unfortunately. So I think with this Lions team, losing the coordinators, and I don't know what Jared Goff's going to look like without Ben Johnson. That's a huge thing to consider. Ben Johnson with Jared Goff, 3 seasons, 96 touchdowns, 13,000 yards passing. Leads the NFL, by the way. So we'll see what he looks like without Ben Johnson. We'll see how this Lions team fares this next season. But Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams just got Ben Johnson. They're going to be a lot better. The Packers, they'll probably get better. The Vikings, J.J. McCarthy, I'm interested to see him and Kevin O'Connell when he's fully healthy. But the NFC North is not going to be any cakewalk. It's going to be a really tough division. I know they, shit the bed. All the teams in the NFC North shit the bed in the playoffs, but this is still going to be one of the best divisions in football. It's going to be competitive. But I think Detroit, they lost their opportunity at a Super Bowl. I don't see them getting back next year. I see the NFC getting even better. The Carolina Panthers, they're going to add some more talent to their team. They're going to be a tough, competitive team. Falcons, Michael Penix looks like the real deal. The Commanders are only going to get better. I mean, their roster right now, this is the worst weapons Jaden Daniels will have to his arsenal. They're going to get even better. The Bears got better, like I said. The 49ers will be healthy next year. So I don't see where the Lions fit in as a threat next season with all these changes to this team. I'm interested to see. Some people thought the NFC North was going to be the worst division in football this season. They thought it was going to be as bad as the NFC South.